Hello YouTube, Mike Kohanim here. Today I'm going to talk about the deck that I'm planning to use going into the Limit 1 Festival, which is going to start within the next 2 days. As with every event where I can use Gladiator Beasts, I will be using Gladiator Beasts in the Limit 1 Festival. So I'm going to show you some of the deck choices, the card choices in the deck that I made for the first version of this deck that I'm planning to begin the event with. Since the event has not yet started, I'm not able to show you the deck in action as it's played in the festival. If you are interested in seeing that, and if you enjoy this video and want to see a follow-up, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. If it gets enough interest, as I've done with previous festivals, I'll do an update video where I show gameplay of myself using this deck and discuss the changes I made to the deck to adapt to the metagame of the Limit 1 Festival. For starters, I do think that Gladiator Beasts are a relatively strong choice for the Limit 1 Festival because of the fact that they are a powerful toolbox where any one of the Gladiator Beasts can tag into a different Gladiator Beast, making them all very searchable. When you can only run one copy of each card in your deck, which are the rules for this festival, having access to the cards you need when you need them is particularly valuable. As I filled out the cards in this deck, I began to realize that hitting 40 unique cards in any particular strategy actually is not that easy of a task and left a lot of room for tech cards. It also allowed room for the integration of some smaller different strategies, which I included in this deck and which I will discuss. The overall strategy of the Gladiator Beast deck, however, is not diminished by the fact that you can only run one of each card, and is in fact in some ways enhanced by the fact that you can only run one of each card, because many decks rely on using multiple copies of cards, whereas the Gladiator Beasts can really do most of what they otherwise aim to do with only a single copy of each card. Plus, as I mentioned before, have that utility where they're able to tag into other Gladiator Beasts from the deck, making them highly searchable, which in theory should make them thrive in Limit 1 Festival. I'm using a wide array of Gladiator Beasts, including some that I don't use in my Master Duel Advanced format deck, or my Gladiator Beast Tri-Brigade deck in Master Duel, including Gladiator Beast Murmillo, which destroys a face-up monster on the field, and Gladiator Beast Retiari, which can banish a card from the opponent's graveyard when it's tagged in. As you're allowed to run more than one copy of each card, you're more reliably able to access Geyserus, which can destroy 2 cards on the field. Obviously, some consistency is lost by having to run only one copy of each card, so I thought access to Murmillo may be worthwhile for this Limit 1 Festival. Similarly, I thought that access to Retiari may be worthwhile because of the fact that it is so searchable by tagging out any Gladiator Beast monster, and the fact that you do need to reach 40 cards in the deck and have a limited number of useful Gladiator Beasts that you can play. Those aside, many of the Gladiator Beasts in this deck you may recognize from the Master Duel Advanced format Gladiator Beast deck that I built and made my first YouTube video on, including Bestiari, who's a fusion material for summoning Geyserus, and the all-important Gladiator Beast Augustus, which can be used to summon Andabata and Tamer Editor, which ultimately will help you summon the strongest Gladiator Beast fusion monsters in your deck, including Gladiator Beast Heraklinos and Gladiator Beast Domitianus. In terms of main deck Gladiator Beast monsters that you lose in the Limit 1 Festival, I think the biggest deal is the second copy of Gladiator Beast Augustus, because Augustus is one of the key ways to summon Tamer Editor, which is what the advanced format Gladiator Beast deck is built around. To compensate for that loss of Augustus, I am using Gladiator Beast Octavius in the deck. We'll see how that works out in practice. It's a level 7 Gladiator Beast that can be tagged in. I'm not a huge fan of it because anytime it battles, you either lose the monster or discard a card. And you don't even get to tag in a Gladiator Beast monster if it shuffles back into the deck. Nevertheless, you're kind of stuck because without Augustus, you really have limited options on what level 5 and higher monsters you can summon. Plus, that effect is useful in certain circumstances because when it's tagged in, you can destroy a set card, and doing that is better than nothing if you want to destroy a card and then immediately contact Fused for Tamer Editor. I did also consider using Gladiator Beast Noxious, but ultimately I believe that the Octavius's effect that can destroy a set card will be a little more valuable in the Limit 1 Festival. I'm also using Gladiator Beast Vespasius, which behind Augustus I would say is probably the second best level 5 or higher Gladiator Beast. So it's another good monster to use to help you summon Tamer Editor, which allows you to somewhat stick to the core Gladiator Beast strategy in the advanced format. In a deck where you can use more than one copy of a card, you will often either summon multiple copies of Tamer Editor or keep trying to send Tamer Editor to the graveyard with a link summon and returning it to the field with cards that can resurrect it. The most popular of those cards is typically Gladiator Beast Comeback, which is also searchable by the effect of Test Panther. But since you can only run one copy of Gladiator Beast Comeback in this deck, you are limited in the number of ways you can special summon your Tamer Editor once it's sent to the graveyard. I am using Monster Reborn, as I do in my advanced format deck, and to compensate for the fact that I can only use one copy of Gladiator Beast Comeback, I'm also using one copy of World Legacy Succession, which is a bit more situational because it requires you to have a link arrow pointing to one of the zones that you'd want to special summon the monster in, but it can be a powerful tool for special summoning Tamer Editor back to the field and using its effect again. There's only so much you can do with the Tamer Editor as well, because you're not able to summon multiple copies of Domitianus, but you do still have plenty of options because you can summon Gladiator Beast Geyserus, you can summon Neurochius, you can summon the Domitianus, and of course Gladiator Beast Heraclinos. So Tamer Editor is still a powerful card, even though its power is diminished a little bit by the fact that this is the Limited 1 Festival. I integrated a couple of other very small strategies into the deck that do not take up a lot of deck space, but I think will have the potential to add quite a bit of power to it. The first of those is the Prisma engine. If you had played the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game many years ago when Gladiator Beasts were early in their popularity, you may remember Elemental Hero Prisma, which can send one of the Gladiator Beast monsters listed on a fusion material to the graveyard to change its name. This was typically done to copy the name of Gladiator Beast Bestiari, so that you're able to special summon Gladiator Beast Geyserus by fusing the Prisma, whose name is now Bestiari, with another on-field Gladiator Beast. Because times have changed and Tamer Editor now exists, you may not Tamer Editor, but because times have changed and Andabada now exists, you may want to use Prisma's effect to copy the name of Gladiator Beast Augustus by revealing Andabada, and then you're able to fuse it with two other Gladiator Beasts to make the Andabada. It sending the monster to the graveyard can also come in handy because it gives you a means to special summon it with the effect of Gladiator Beast Darius or one of your resurrection spell cards. To go with the Prisma, I am using one copy of Elemental Hero Stratos, which can search for it. It's probably a dated strategy. I don't think it's going to be particularly powerful, but I did also want to use the copy of A Hero Lives, and I wanted to have Stratos at my disposal for that reason as well. With one copy of each, you really want to draw a hero lives before you draw all of your heroes, so that's a little more likely if you're running 2 elemental heroes instead of 1. But using a hero lives to summon Prisma to the field without using up a normal summon should facilitate your ability to contact fuse. In addition, I am using another package which actually works alongside the Elemental Hero Prisma package, since Prisma and Stratos are both level 4 monsters. And that package is mostly in the extra deck, in the form of number 39 Utopia and number 39 Utopia Double. Number 39 Utopia and Utopia Double have been used in the competitive trading card game in conjunction with Double or Nothing, in a very cool combo that can sometimes just steal a game. The way it works is as follows. You make a rank 4 summon of number 39 Utopia Double just by combining 2 level 4 monsters. So that could be as simple as using a Hero Lives to summon Stratos from your deck, using Stratos' effect to search for Prisma, normal summoning Prisma, and then Xyz summoning number 39 Utopia Double. Once it's on the field, you can actually give up an Xyz material from it to add a copy of Double or Nothing from your deck to your hand. Special summon from your extra deck number 39 Utopia, who's right here. And then double its attack points, but it can't attack directly. So with that, its attack points will become 5,000. Using the Double or Nothing spell card, you can attack with number 39 Utopia, use its effect to negate your own Utopia's attack, and then activate Double or Nothing to double Utopia's attack again to 10,000 attack points and allow it to attack again. With the first attack negated, it can then attack. So now you have a 10,000 attack monster that can attack over an opponent's monster. If your opponent has a monster on the field with 2,000 or fewer attack points, you're going to deal at least 8,000 points of damage and can win instantly. While it remains to be seen how much this will actually come up in this Limit 1 Festival, I expect that with decks being weaker, it'll come up a lot more than it otherwise would in the advanced format. And the deck space that is dedicated to it is so minimal that I thought it was worth the inclusion. In the main deck, I'm only using the 1 copy of Double or Nothing to be able to use this package that can instantly win me the game. And in the extra deck, I am just using a copy of Utopia and a copy of Utopia Double. And the space is really there in the extra deck, since I can only use 1 copy of each card. You can also easily summon Utopia Double using the effect of Darius to special summon a level 4 Gladiator Beast from your graveyard, or using one of your other Resurrection spell cards to bring back a level 4 monster, or any other method that you have of summoning level 4 monsters to the field. So those are the main strategies in the deck. They do really track popular strategies that were used with Gladiator Beasts in the past. You have the hero engine based around Prisma and Stratos, really based around Prisma, but using Stratos to assist, which will help you contact fuse. You're using Double or Nothing with the Utopia monsters as just a rank 4 combo. And you have your Gladiator Beast monsters that you can use to contact fuse, which is the real core strategy of the deck. Just a note, the rank 4 Utopia Double strategy, Utopia Double into Utopia, getting Double or Nothing to attack for 10,000 attack points, was a popular strategy in the TCG for a very short period of time. That went in rank 4 decks, or decks that can summon rank 4 monsters. It was never really, I've never seen it used in Gladiator Beast decks other than my own Gladiator Beast deck, because Gladiator Beasts were not popular at the time that the Double or Nothing strategy was popular. However, it seems like it works as a natural inclusion to the deck, because you can really just steal a win out of nowhere, and there are so many ways to summon level 4 monsters to the field and use that strategy in here. As for the deck's tech cards I'm using Raigeki to clear the field, Harpie's Feather Duster to clear the back rows, Lightning Storm to clear either. I tried to choose cards that would be particularly versatile, since I don't know quite what to expect going into the Limit 1 Festival in terms of what decks I may encounter. But I expect cards that are clearly high impact, high power to be particularly strong when every card in the game is limited. I'm using Mind Control because it's a good way to get an opponent's monster off the field while getting a link material for Test Panther, which can be summoned by combining a Gladiator Beast monster with any monster, including any monster stolen from the opponent with Mind Control. The copy of Reinforcement of the Army is certainly cuttable, but it basically reinforces the Prisma Stratos package since it can search for either of them. Gladiator Proving Ground just lets you get any Gladiator Beast level 4 or lower from your deck to your hand when you're limited in the number of Gladiator Beasts that you can play in your deck. That's slightly more powerful than it otherwise would be. The same is true of Fire Formation Tenki, which is less powerful than Proving Ground in this deck, but it can search for either Darius or Laquari as an attacker, or Gladiator Beast Attorix if you have a play that summons Augustus and would like to summon Attorix from your hand with its effect. So it has a little bit of versatility, but ultimately it's really just shoring up the number of Gladiator Beasts that you're using in your deck, because you are somewhat limited in what you can play and how many Gladiator Beasts you can normal summon without tribute. Gladiator Rejection is just a pretty good card, so it was worth playing on one of it even without the main combo in my advanced format deck, or main power card in my advanced format deck, which would be Rescue Rabbit. Obviously, Rescue Rabbit is unplayable in this format, because Rescue Rabbit summons 2 monsters with the same name, and you're only allowed to run 1 monster with the same name in this format. So I certainly would not advise using Rescue Rabbit, but I think Gladiator Rejection is still good, because even if you're not using a spell effect or a monster effect from a non-Gladiator Beast to special summon a monster from your deck, like Unexpected Die or Rescue Rabbit, you can simply use the effect to special summon Gladiator Beast from your deck just by tagging in a Gladiator Beast from your deck with the effect of a tagged out Gladiator Beast. Plus, stopping your opponent from targeting your Gladiator Beast monsters during the main phase may be relevant depending on what the limited 1 festival format starts to look like. I am using Fusion Deployment as well. This is a card you may have seen in my video for my Fusion Festival Gladiator deck, if you've watched that. It locks you into Fusion Summons for the turn, so I'm not using it in my advanced format deck, but I think it's good enough for the Limit 1 Festival, where you kind of have to pull more cards into your deck. I think a single turn where you summon either Tamer Editor or Geyserus into Domitianus or something like that will be a powerful enough turn in the Limit 1 Festival that locking yourself into Fusion Summons is probably worthwhile. The Cosmic Cyclone in the deck is, again, just another tech card. I'm expecting back rows to be particularly relevant, as they have been in most festivals in the past. And then I'm just running a lineup of crap cards that I think may be powerful for this format, which are Torrential Tribute, Infinite Impermanence, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, and Solemn Strike. I'm using Gladiator Beast War Chariot, which can negates a monster's effect, but also plays a part in the Chariot Lock, which was another popular Gladiator Beast strategy, where you can stop a monster's effect with Chariot, and then on the following turn, tag into Gladiator Beast Equeste to bring back the Chariot, essentially cutting your opponent off from monster effects for the whole duel, or at least 1 monster effect per turn. And if they only have 1 monster effect per turn, then they really can't do anything. So that mini combo, if you will, is in this deck. And I'm using Gladiator Normoxia as well. This is a card I normally don't give time of day to, but it can shuffle a Gladiator Beast from your hand or graveyard into the main deck to increase the attack points of one of your Gladiator Beasts on the field. The key phrase there being or main deck. Oh, sorry, or graveyard into the main deck. I think that recycling Gladiator Beast from the graveyard may be worthwhile in this format, since you can only run one of each Gladiator Beast. I would not be surprised if I cut this card in later versions of the deck, but I'd like to try it out. I also crafted Archnemeses Protos for this deck. It's just a really powerful card and fits really well into this deck. So I spent the 30 ultra rare gems, or ultra rare crafting points. You summon it from your hand by banishing 3 monsters with different attributes from your graveyard or field. The monsters in this deck, particularly the Gladiator Beasts, have attributes that are all over the place. Augustus is dark, Vespasius is water, Octavius is light, Attorix is earth, Equeste is wind. We have light, Prisma, earth, Darius, fire for Laquari. You're really running everything. So because of that, I think it should be fairly easy to summon, and as you may be aware, it's tough to get off the field because it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it also can just wipe the field of an opponent's monsters and lock your opponent out of summoning monsters of a particular type. For those reasons, this card was forbidden in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but is not forbidden in Master Duel, and is not even forbidden in the Limit 1 Festival. While other cards that are currently legal in Master Duel have been forbidden in the Limit 1 Festival, like Imperial Order, Vanity's Emptiness. So those cards I can't use, but Archnemeses Protos I can use and am using because I expect that it will fit in fairly well. The extra deck is fairly standard. I'm really using one of every Gladiator Beast I could possibly want to summon. I talked about the Utopia package, and then I just have the Link monsters that I ordinarily use with the addition of Mech Knight Crusader Dia Avramax, which I think can come in handy because there's a little extra space in the extra deck. I was kind of going between this and Blackluster Soldier of Chaos, the Link monster, because you can use Octavius, Vespasius, and Augustus as your level 7 or higher monster to give it its extra effect. Ultimately, I opted for the Avramax. I think they're both good. I already had Avramax in my collection, so I figured I wouldn't generate the Blackluster Soldier just yet. And I'm using Gladiator Beast Dragacies. Again, I just feel like I have the space in the extra deck. I don't know if it'll ever come up, but I certainly can see a situation where it does. So that is my Gladiator Beast deck for the Limit 1 Festival. The festival is starting soon. As always, these festivals provide an awesome opportunity to get gems. I believe I think they showed a Shard of Greed mate, so that's kind of cool too. Not quite a Pot of Greed, but I'll take the Shard of Greed as well. And it's generally just fun because you see a lot of different decks, and as usual, you're awarded for wins and not really punished for losses. And in fact, you usually get medals which convert into gems, even when you lose, so long as you don't concede. So it's a great time that encourages playing, and I think you'll enjoy it more if you play a deck you like. I really like Gladiator Beasts. I've played them more than any other deck in my life. Played them in the World Championship in 2009, and I'm excited to be playing them in this Limit 1 event. So I hope you like this video. Let me know what if there are changes you would make to this Gladiator Beast deck. I'm sure there are some tech cards that I probably should include that I left out or forgot about, but I'm certain that as I play in the Limit 1 event, that I will make changes to this deck and update it.